So what we're going to do now is evacuate the system. I have my vacuum pump right here hooked up to my gauges, high side, low side. What we'll do is open these valves. We'll open the valves up here and we'll draw a vacuum. So what we'll do is, or what we'll watch for, is this needle to go negative here. We want to see this go probably, negative 30. We'll run it for 45 minutes to an hour, and it's a little noisy. That's why I don't have it going right now so you guys can hear me. But I'll fire this up and you'll see the results in just a second. Let me open this one here. And then this one, just opening these. And then we'll turn this on here. And then I'll open this up. There we go. So you can see that's already going to, see how it went negative right there? Hopefully you can hear me. We'll open them both up. And it's normal to see a little bit of this smoke at first, like this condensation. I think it's picking up. Don't breathe that crap in though. And I'll fire the camera back up in about 45. See you then. Okay, it's been about an hour. Let me shut these valves here. That'll lock everything in. Now what we want to do is watch these gauges up here for any degradation, I guess we could call it. So we have a vacuum, a strong vacuum pulled on the high and the low side, and we want to make sure that they pretty much stay there. Now if you have a large leak and you shut your pump off and watch these gauges and they just start to drop and go back to zero, you know instantly you're pulling in outside air and there's a problem. So you're gonna have to find that situation. But anyway, we're all set with this. Let me unhook this, and this is where this yellow line is where we'll hook up our refrigerant, our 134A. And on most cars, many models, makes and models, they'll tell you right here under the hood how much refrigerant needs to be added and what type. So here we've got 800, give or take 25 grams. So I believe 800 grams is around 27, 26 ounces, I want to say, which these cans here are 12 ounces each. Now you can weigh it, you can get a small scale and weigh it out, but basically we're going to need 2 full ones, would be 24, and then maybe a half or so of another can, and we should be pretty close as far as how much refrigerant we need in the system. We'll watch our gauges and our compressor, and we want to see, about 150 on the high side, and probably, 30 to 40 pounds here on the low side. Anyway, let me get that hooked up, and what I'll do is I'm actually going to wait about 10 or 15 minutes just to make sure that those gauges stay pretty steady. I just want to add a few things before a couple of things before we put this pump away. How it's very important to evacuate the system. You want to evacuate the system because if oxygen is in there, in the AC system, with the refrigerant, it can become acidic. And the last thing you want is acid in there. Internally can kill your compressor or any other components in there. So that's not a good thing. The other good thing about evacuating, you should do it in the beginning. If you do have refrigerant in there, it should be recovered, not released into the atmosphere. But another aspect is here that you can get that vacuum going and check your gauges and watch them now like it's static. I've got them set up where I'm just going to watch these for about 15-20 minutes, make sure they don't drop. If those gauges start to drop really fast, or at all for that matter, you have a leak. If it doesn't hold vacuum, you've got a really big leak. So that's another important reason. But the other reason is when you have the vacuum in the system and you go to add your refrigerant, this is somewhat under pressure, but my point is it will get sucked into the system. So the refrigerant gets pulled in, it gets drawn in because of that vacuum, and that'll help speed things up. So there's many benefits to doing it right, to getting one of these vacuum pumps. I think you can get them for, I don't know, I want to say cheapo ones for 60 or 70 bucks or something on sale. Of course, Usually the more expensive ones, you get what you pay for. But I've got this one here, and I think this is a Pittsburgh. It came from Harbor Freight. I've had it for years, and it works fantastic. I haven't had any problems with it. This is the 2.5 CFM is what I have. They have different size motors or amperage. So CFM. So anyway, enough rambling about that. The other thing is, you notice I'm wearing safety glasses. Anytime I work around refrigerant, I'm wearing safety glasses. You never know when something can burst or pop, and the last thing is you don't want an eye injury. I also will put on latex gloves when I start to add it in there, the refrigerant, because you don't want that PAG oil and stuff on your skin. I don't know what it does, but it can be good. All right, enough rambling with that. Safety class is over. Let's start getting the good stuff in. As promised, I'm gloved up, so let's get busy here. Let me get this refrigerant going, and what I'll be doing is, as I'm adding this, I'm going to have to start the engine. So you want that engine running, you want that compressor. When it gets to a certain pressure and the ECM's happy here, it'll allow that compressor to kick on, and then it usually draws the refrigerant in faster once you do that. So you got to be patient. It can take a little bit of time. But anyway, that's what you do there. So let me just bleed this out here. We'll hear a little hiss, and then I'll shut that off. And there we go. Let's get that. We're just pushing the air out. We're not putting refrigerant in the atmosphere. We're just getting the air out of the line. So when it does take the refrigerant, it won't suck any outside air in, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Now when we go to put this in, we're just going to open our low side. We don't add refrigerant in on this side. This valve is open down here so that I can read the gauge. Okay, it will read it, but nothing is flowing through this I should say this way, through the red high side to the yellow. Okay, so basically we turn this in. You can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so make sure everything's tight. All right, that's good. Tight, tight, tight. And now we'll open this, and then you want to see this gauge should start going up, which it just did. Okay, and it'll take a little bit of time. Let me go start the engine, and we'll take it from there. All right, so the first can's going in. Make sure you don't put this like right into your face, in case something did happen, unfortunately, a hose burst or something. But I'm watching the gauges. The low side is going up. The high side's definitely going up. It's about 160 right now. We're about 25 on the low side. I'm still on the first can. I'm watching my sight glass, and I can see the refrigerant is going in. You can kind of see the refrigerant, if you don't know, is this R130 4A is, any refrigerant or even old school Freon. It goes from a liquid to a gas and vice versa. That's what's so cool about it. But I can feel the can getting really cold. It's like ice cold right now as it sucks it in. And what I'll do is I'll get a couple of the cans in, and then I'll fire the camera back up, and then we'll go inside and we'll check the temperature. While I do this, I have a fan running to keep things kind of cool, even though it's not too hot today. So we're done adding refrigerant, and our low side right now is about 30, and our high side is close to 150. I like those numbers. Let's go inside the car. Let's see what we got on the thermometer here. It's about 74 degrees right now today. So there's the on dash, says 74. And I have this on low. Let's turn it up a little bit. So we're about 37 degrees. So 47, 57, 67, 77. Yeah, so about 35 degrees cooler than the ambient temperature. So I'm good with that. If we rev this up a little bit, bring it up to like 1500, that'll probably drop even lower. But that's good. We're all set. And let's wrap the video up. Okay, so what'd you guys think about today's fun project? I'm just glad it's over. That bottom nut to get that flange on down here, that sucker is much more difficult to put on than it is to take off. It's very tight quarters. I've got a couple of wounds right here to prove it, but it'll heal in time, and hopefully the AC will stay nice and cold. When I post this video, I'll give you a somewhat long-term, make sure to let you know that nothing was leaking. This was the problem. Like I said earlier in the video, go ahead, if you want, put dye in there, check it that way, make sure you have no other O-rings going bad or a hose that's gone bad. So this sucker going to the trash. These are on national back order, but if I can find a link to someone who sells these online, I'll leave it in the description down below. Hyundai, Kia has an issue with these. I'd say probably, well, I don't know about the new ones now, but back in that generation, you know, 2010, 13, 15, 16, what have you, that they're known to go bad after probably like 4 years. So don't be surprised. It usually starts as a slower leak, and you add refrigerant, and then you got to add more refrigerant. Maybe you get a year out of it. Maybe you get 6 months, then you get 2 months, then you get no months. So there you go. Time to get it done right and just be done with it and get to the next headache. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Stay tuned for future videos. I got some more Hyundai stuff probably coming up here soon. I want to thank you guys for subscribing that have subscribed. I missed the 25,000. I think we're about 26,000 something now. So thank you very much. You guys mean a lot to me and the reason I make videos. So coming up, I believe a tool company is going to be sending me a little tools that we can do a giveaway for that. So we'll go back in time and honor the 25,000 mark. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you. Smash the like button if you get a chance. I appreciate that. Check me out on Instagram. It's Ozzstar1. Facebook is Ozzstar. And that's about it for this one. So I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.